All right, it is October 25th, 2021, and I just want to say a few words about a couple things. First, AirPods Pro, I should say. AirPods Pro have this function where if you lose it, you can have it play a loud sound to help you locate it. And I don't know, I feel like there's some safety concerns with having these guys play a very, very loud noise. I don't know, I just feel like that's something that people are going to inevitably hurt themselves with. Having these in their ear and then playing that sort of location tone and then suffer some kind of hearing injury. That said, just last week, I had these in my hands like so, and I was carrying other things in my hands, and I was on the phone, and just sort of without paying much attention, I was packing my bags at the same time, and I dropped these in the bag that I was packing, and sure enough, I didn't know where they went, and so I used the tone to find them. It wasn't especially loud, but when I was close enough to my bag, I noticed it coming from my bag, and I was able to find it. So anyway, that's interesting. I didn't think that I would need to use that kind of a function, but I did use that function. And of course, I mentioned before in another vlog that this also does have a location tracking. I think it sends its last known location to your Find My network, so you can look at it on a map to see where they are if you've left them behind somewhere. Of course, if they are in the same room as you, maps don't really help, and so that's where playing a loud tone will help you locate them. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that God of War and Uncharted are both coming to PC. So these are two games that obviously are very, very popular, but have always been exclusive to PlayStation. And I don't own a PlayStation. I didn't have friends that own PlayStations, and so those games have largely been out of reach for me. They have such a strong following, and clearly there's they're very well made, and so I relish the opportunity to finally be able to experience it. And I'm not talking about the old God of War, because to be honest, I've seen footage and gameplay from there. I'm just like, I feel like Devil May Cry is way better. But the newest God of War looks like it's a beautifully made epic with a far more mature tone and story. So I'm interested in checking that out. And as for Uncharted, I mean, that just looks like a ton of fun. It looks like you're just playing an action movie, and I don't know, it just looks like a lot of fun. It's not trying to be this open world thing, which, to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of open world anymore. I like just having a gripping story, even if it is kind of hand-holdy and almost on rails at some points. If it's got a good, interesting story, I think that's still better for pacing, and I like it. So I look forward to that. Horizon Zero Dawn also used to be a PlayStation exclusive, I believe, and has been on PC for a little bit. I did not get it, and I did toy with the idea, but it is an open world game, and like I said, it kind of become less of a fan of that kind of genre, and so I didn't. But both God of War and Uncharted are not open world games, and they're coming to PC, and I am stoked. So finally, the other thing I wanted to talk about was MacBook Pros. The embargo's lifted today, because I'm starting to see reviews come out. Dave Duty had a review that I saw The Verge put out like a preview video. But yeah, I think it's exciting. I've already mentioned the MacBook Pros in an earlier video. I think it's so exciting to have that kind of power and power efficiency in a notebook, and just be able to crush video rendering and all that stuff that pros might be able to do. The ports thing is nice too. I hate dongles, so it's nice that it's back. But I do want to address one specific thing, and that is the fact that MacBook Pros are meant for pros, and I, for the most part, I agree with that. I highly doubt that not anybody, I highly doubt that the majority of people need that kind of pure compute power and graphics performance, right? I think you're gonna see MacBook Pros in the hands of a lot of students, and I have to agree. I just don't think that the majority of these people are going to use that kind of notebook to its full potential. I think the people that are going to need that kind of power are people who do like heavy duty video editing. So a lot of YouTubers, right? That's why I think YouTubers are so excited about this notebook, not necessarily because they represent the majority, but because by nature of the medium of YouTube, they have to know about the video editing workflow and the kind of computing power you need behind it. And so they're of course very excited about this kind of stuff, and I think they are the ones that are going to really appreciate this power. And then of course there are people who do like extensive coding or modeling, maybe people who do sound work as well. People who have to layer just tons and tons of high bitrate data. They're gonna enjoy that. Maybe people who are involved in machine learning, I don't know, and maybe gamers, right? So it's weird that we lump gamers in with professionals, but historically gaming has required very beefy computer performance, and this could be a computer that actually has enough oomph behind it to run some games. So I get it. I get that MacBook Pros are meant for pros. So why does any of this matter? Because it's because of the price, right? These notebooks are very expensive. I think they're more expensive than they have ever been, as a sort of starting price. And I think they justify as being saying, well, it's for pros. And reviewers are also justifying it by saying, well, they're for pros. But there's a problem with that statement. And the problem is that they've put things in there that would appeal to even non-pros, right? So they've put in a fantastic new display, a variable refresh rate, high refresh rate display. They've put in a better speaker system. They put in a much improved webcam, right? These are all things that even non-professionals would want, but are not available in their less pro notebooks, right? It's not in the MacBook Air, and it's not in the MacBook Pro 13. And so this is why, even if you're a non-pro, you would be tempted, right? Like for me, I know I would never need that kind of power, even though I do a little bit of YouTube. I would never need that kind of power. But I'm still tempted to get that laptop because I want to enjoy the better screen. I want to enjoy the better webcam, and I want to enjoy the better speaker system. If they had put out a MacBook Pro M1X and M1 Max, MacBook Pro 14-inch and 16-inch, they put those out with the same screen and the same webcam and the same speaker system as their M1 Max, the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro 13, if those things were all the same, except for the processor and the performance, then it would be much easier to justify just getting the MacBook Air. And we would all very much, I think, be more tempted to leave that Pro lineup alone for true professionals. But sadly, that's not the case. Apple has not just given you performance; they've given you enough quality of life improvements that would appeal to the general crowd. So sadly, what that means is that people are going to be spending a lot of money for a notebook that they probably don't need, but they're going to enjoy immensely because of the better screen and better webcam and so on and so forth. It's a tricky thing. Apple, they're good at making you part with your money, that's for sure. Yeah, so I'm going to end it here.